All right. Next up is Interstellar. This one definitely had a huge emotional impact on me. Without fail, I cry every time I watch this movie.
For sure. That scene where he watches his kids grow up gets me every time, too.
Actually, I was talking about the docking sequence. But yeah, that one too.
Wow. Didn't realize you guys were such beta males. Imagine crying during a sci-fi movie. Let me guess, you guys also cried at your weddings?
Oh, give me a break, Tim. Especially being a father yourself, you can only imagine how Cooper felt during that moment.
Whatever. But all that being said, this movie is definitely S tier. Once again, Nolan utilizes IMAX cameras for maximum immersion. It was also ingenious that they were able to put microphones inside the helmets of their suits to record dialogue scenes in IMAX, which is normally not possible due to how loud those cameras are.
And the score by Hans Zimmer is nothing short of epic. I keep going back and forth about whether this or Inception is his best work, but I agree this movie as a whole is definitely S tier.
Yeah, this one is an easy S tier. Okay, next one is Dunkirk. This one was definitely different.
I really don't get this one. I mean, the cinematography is great and all, and I love historical films, but for some reason, I just don't really care for this one, even though I know everyone loves it. It pains me to say this, but I think this one gets C tier.
While I share some of that sentiment, and I'm sorry for going back to this, but are we really going to give this movie a lower rating than a movie we haven't even seen?
I'm willing to bet that I will like the following more than this one.
Based off what, the Rotten Tomatoes score? Dunkirk has a 92% on there.
Like I said before, Nolan has a track record, and Dunkirk just happens to be an outlier.
Well, even though I disagree with that logic, I'm fine with this being in the same category as Insomnia.
I'm glad you two could sort that out without me. Okay, next up is a controversial one, Tenant. This one confused the heck out of me, but I feel like maybe I just wasn't smart enough to follow it. What did you guys think?
I don't think anyone fully understands it. I've watched it 4 or 5 times now, and I am convinced that there are a few plot holes and inconsistencies. But as with any sci-fi movie, you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with the plot, because the whole concept of the movie kind of lends itself to the same cause and effect issues that come with any time travel movie. I think he did the best he could with such a unique concept.
And I think the exposition scenes were a bit corny. Like, I understand that you have to find a way to explain certain things to your audience, but I just wish it was a bit more palatable, especially on subsequent viewings when you already understand the mechanics. The exposition scenes in Inception were much better.
But even with all of that being said, I have a soft spot for this movie. All the inverted scenes were so fun to watch, and the choreography was extremely impressive.
And let's not forget the score on this one. I'll admit, I got a bit nervous when I heard that Hans Zimmer wasn't going to be the composer, but Ludwig Göransson absolutely knocked this out of the park. It still felt like a Nolan score, but he also brought his own flavor to it.
And I'll mention it once again, but Nolan is truly the king of IMAX. At the time that this movie came out, everyone had basically abandoned IMAX film in favor of the inferior digital IMAX cameras. But Nolan proves time and time again that nothing really compares to the real thing.
It may be controversial, but it sounds to me like we're giving this one an A. Okay, last but not least, we have Oppenheimer.
This one is fantastic. Like I said earlier, I love historical movies, and this one is no exception. The ensemble cast in a period piece was a really interesting choice, and it worked way better than I thought it would.
I think this movie was really good, and Ludwig really proved himself again with the score.
Only real downside here was the unnecessary nudity and sexual content. I get that his relationship with Jean was part of his story, but you can easily tell the audience without showing it.
I agree. It was disappointing to see Nolan stoop down to the level of our degenerate culture. It didn't have as many IMAX sequences as his other recent films, but this was a drama rather than an action movie, so that makes sense. It is the first movie to utilize IMAX black and white film, so he still gets credit for being a pioneer.
Yeah, and the bomb sequence and aftermath was just beautifully executed. Anyways, I would be tempted to give this S tier, but as a Catholic, I think the nudity thing should really hold some weight. Does everyone agree on A tier?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
Sounds good. Hey, look at us. We managed to come to an agreement. I'm proud of you guys. Shoot, it's Scott. Quick, you two hide under the table before he sees you.
Hi, Matt. Kimberly asked me to return this casserole dish on my way home. Wait, who's that hiding under your kitchen table?
Damn it, guys.
Wait a minute. Are you making a Christopher Nolan tier list without me?
Yes.
I don't understand. You know that I'm currently writing a book about this, right? Why wouldn't you invite me to join?
Well, sorry, but I cannot tell a lie. We didn't invite you because we wanted to keep things casual rather than it turning into some pretentious theological discussion.
I hear a tone of jealousy in your voice, Matt. Perhaps you're all just afraid that you wouldn't be able to keep up with me.
Okay, let's just calm down here.
Well, let me at least see how badly you butchered the list before I leave. Oh, wow. This ranking is surprisingly based, actually. I'm sorry for losing my cool a minute ago. Just make sure you invite me next time.
No problem, Dr. Hahn. Thanks for bringing back the casserole dish. Not sure why you didn't clean it before returning it.
Hey, Matt, it looks like we're still live on Locals. Should I end the stream now?
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, sorry you had to see that little scuffle, but thanks for supporting me on Locals. Take care, y'all.